Today, we're going to talk about Enoch and the fallen angels.
Welcome to the mountain of fire.
Home to the spiritually inclined. Some times ago, we did a Bible study, and somebody asked me to elaborate a little more on some of the books that are not contained in the 66 books Bible. So today, we're going to address the book of Enoch. And let's jump right in. In order to understand what happened in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 4, there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Here, the Bible talks about giants that were living on the earth and afterwards. And in order to understand what happened and the details of it, I had to read the book of Enoch. And the book of Enoch has Hebrew origins and is also referred to in the epistle of Jude, chapter 1, verse 14. Now Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about these men also, saying, Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints. So here we have the reference of Enoch prophecy. And on top of the fact that it has a Hebrew origin, the book of Enoch has some kind of credibilities to it. And I had to read it to understand what really happened, because it is written in the book of Enoch, chapter 6, verse 1 to 4. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Samyaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. So here we see that Enoch even gave the name of the leaders. And when we read the book of Enoch, we even see that he gave the names of the leaders of 10. And they all came down, took an oath to put into accomplishment, to execute the plan of having children. And here, we shouldn't mistake the fact that they lost it after woman, because the reality of it is, what they really lost it after was the fact that women could bear life, because they seen God creating his children, and them in return also wanted children. So seeing that the woman was the one that God created to be able to bear life, they came down and also wanted children, and they came down to women. They took wives to make children. And some people even say that the fallen angels didn't actually conceive children the way a man and a woman procreate, because the seed of procreation is something that God gave man. It's only something that God gave, and that is proper to man, human beings. So they came down, took wives, begot children, and because their plan was not blessed by God, it was bound to be evil. Hence, the children turned out to be evil. And the book of Jubilee, which is another apocryphal book, calls them the Nephilim, and says that it's three types of them. The giants that were the biggest ones, the Nephil, that were the medium ones, and the Elgos, that were the smallest ones. So you have the biggest ones, the giants, killed the Nephils, and the Nephil killed the Elgos, and the Elgos killed human beings. And along with all that killing that was going on, the fallen angels themselves taught men how to use metals and how to do war. So, on one hand, you have giants killing giants killing humans, and humans killing humans. And the reason why the giants were killing is because they could not be content with the food that humans were eating. And meat was not allowed to be eaten in those days. In fact, God did not allow man to eat meat until after the flood. In Genesis chapter 9, verse 3 to 4, every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I have given you all things, even as the green herbs. But you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. So here, after the flood, when Noah made a burnt offering to God, that's when afterwards God gave the permission to consume meat. But before that, it wasn't allowed. And yet, the Nephilim were consuming each other's, and they were consuming man. And some people say that because the fallen angels did not conceive like man and a woman do, there was some kind of genetic manipulation and crossbreeding that was going on. Hence, some other books talks about creatures that were half human and half animal. So, with all the chaos and disorder and evil that was going on the earth, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael, they saw from heaven and went in the throne room and talked to God. And they told him in the Book of Enoch, chapter 9, verse 11, and thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou doest suffer them, and thou doest not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Then down in the Book of Enoch, chapter 10, verses 1 to 2, it says, then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, go to Noah, and tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and the deluge is about to come upon the whole earth and will destroy all that is on it. So, like that, God sent the order for the flood. And as we read the book down, we see that God also gave the order to bind those fallen angels and cast them and lock them up. And before they got bound and locked up, the fallen angel came to Enoch and asked him to write down a petition to present to God on their behalf, which Enoch did, but God wouldn't have it because God created them in heaven. God said he created the angels in heaven, eternal beings, in a way where they don't need children, but yet they came down knowing what they're doing and defiled themselves and brought all that chaos on earth. So God wouldn't have it and gave the order to bind them and lock them up, and brought the flood upon the earth and destroyed their children along with anything else that was on the earth. And that concludes our topic of the day on Enoch and the fallen angels. And I hope I answered it to your satisfaction. And if you have any comment, any suggestion, any subject, I would love to read them. You can drop them in the comment box. And until next time, stay encouraged. God bless you and God keep you. And thank you for watching.